Welcome to Worldwide Rush, a transport logistics simulation game where we build an empire, hopefully. Welcome back to One Last Turn. This is a new series here on the channel. I'm not sure how long it's gonna be, but we'll find that out. And obviously, if you guys enjoyed this game, then we'll continue. There's lots of things to do, lots of ways to start the game, play the game. It can be modded, stuff like that. So really looking forward to this game. As you can see here, our company has been founded. It's called One Last Passenger, and it is entering the global arena with a small loan of 2.73 million euros. That's about $3 million, I believe you start with if you choose USD for your currency type. We're playing classic and with basically every settings being the default. And if we take a look here up in the company's menu, we can see we have 30 competitors sort of vying to take over the world. We'll see how far or how fair we end up going, how good we end up becoming, how big of an empire we'll be making. We have the entire world as a possibility for making this this empire, and what we do is we set up traffic, passenger transportation between cities, between countries, and there's about, I think it's like 3,500 cities to choose from in the game, and everything is simulated. So the demand for going to different cities is simulated, and it changes while we're playing the game and while more sort of routes unlock. So for example, if I have a route from France to Spain and somebody in Germany wants to go to Spain, but there's no direct connection, but there is a connection to France, then maybe the demand for my city in France where we can go to Spain is going to increase because people want to use that as an indirect route in going to Spain. So that is really going to be interesting to see how that all turns out. Me being from Denmark, I kind of want to see if we can get our start here up in Scandinavia, and if we could have our first hub being in Denmark, that would be pretty cool to me. Now Denmark is a pretty terrible country to to sort of have transportation in. We are in 2010. We have planes and ships and trains and road vehicles at our disposal. So there's definitely the possibility of creating sort of sea routes and air routes. Because building bridges is expensive and it's not really something we can do in the beginning. So I'm wondering, maybe it is better to start in Sweden maybe, but I really don't want to give that pleasure to the Swedes. So we'll see. We'll start here over in Aarhus. That also allows us to sort of easily be connected with Germany and the rest of Europe, and we can do boats to both Norway and Sweden, and also we can get connected to Zealand over here with Copenhagen and Roskilde. So I think we'll build our hub here in Aarhus, and when you look at this window here, I'm gonna try and play this game in a way that it's both sort of explanatory for you as people that hasn't played the game before, but also like don't want to go too much into the nitty-gritty details. But we'll see how that ends up turning out. As usual, my gameplay style is just thinking out loud about the sort of decisions that I am making, and this being a logistics sort of game, we're gonna be thinking and talking a lot about logistics. But in this city view, we can see that in Aarhus, people really want to go to Odense. And as I just said, building bridges is a little bit expensive. We sort of want to match the demand, so actually, let's just take a look. If we go here into new route, we select Aarhus, we'll select Odense, and we select vehicle. We can add some filters, and we can sort of filter by the type here. If we were to get a passenger line, we can see this has capacity of 8, and the estimated, let's go with this one. This one has 9. The estimated profits is about 88,000 euros. I'm not sure if that's per year or per month, but I think it's also like if everything is running completely smoothly. But if we take this, you can say it's 47,000, but we need to build a road. It's going to build the road through Horsens, through Kolding, and then to Odense, and it's going to cost us 755,000. It's subsidized a little bit, which is nice. That's sort of a pretty big investment. It is our most sort of requested city here, so it might be worth it. Alternatively, we could go with something like a plane. 8 capacity, 300k, estimated profits 235,000. We need a minimum efficiency of 3 people. We should definitely be able to do that. So it's a much less investment to go to Odense like this, because we don't have to sort of worry about these cities for now, and eventually there's gonna be sort of a demand there, and you can also see all of these sort of arrows pointing in. That's because people want to go from these cities into Aarhus, so maybe we'll sort of create roads to some of these cities anyways, bring people into Aarhus, then maybe they can go to Odense or Copenhagen or something like that. I think a plane makes a lot of sense. Let's give that a try. And I also want to get one for Aarhus to Gothenburg. Question is if we should go with a larger plane or not, because and a faster plane, because obviously it's a farther distance. We have 15 people wanting to go there, 30 passengers per month. If we take a look at sort of the minimum efficiency required to turn a profit, these 2 smaller planes seem to be profitable easier, and there isn't that much estimated profit difference between them, while the price of the Nimbus is a lot cheaper. So I think we'll go with the Nimbus as well for this route, and probably the one for Copenhagen as well. Let's throw in a Copenhagen route here, and we'll throw down another Nimbus. You can see we're starting to get some company loyalty here, so we're getting a slightly better price, and that's also something to sort of take into consideration, whether or not you want to jump between companies or just sort of throw a lot of your purchases into the same company. At this point, 2% isn't really that much, but at some point in the game, when planes are costing hundreds of millions of dollars or even more, it does add up a little bit. So we'll make this route as well, and I think I want to do a route from Aarhus to Herning, but this will be via bus. It's a short road, 46,000. That's not so much. And we can see here in Horsens there is like 15 people that wants to go to Aarhus, so that is pretty nice. And the same demand is sort of here in Herning, so let's try and see if we can't do the same thing here. Build the road, also not that expensive of a road. How about Aalborg? 15 people wants to go to Aarhus from Aalborg as well. Slightly larger slightly larger route. And also some of the people in Aalborg wants to go to Herning, so we could sort of send them to Herning, and that way they can go to Aarhus. But the only way we can do that is if we make either Herning or Aalborg a hub. So I don't really want to do that at this point. I think that's gonna be too expensive. So we'll just do a sort of a direct connection from Aarhus to Aalborg. Actually, what we can do is we can modify the route that we have, the one that goes to Herning. We can modify this one. We can just add Aalborg into the mix. We can build the road that way. I think it makes sense to do that with the demand being as low as it is. But we probably do want to throw in an additional vehicle. So we get the route, we take our vehicle, and we duplicate it. Okay, I think this is... Let's see if we have anything else. These are all related to Odense, and Odense and Aalborg already has and Aarhus already has a connection. So we are sort of fully connected with our main hub here. We could throw down an extra hub here in Copenhagen, but that's gonna use all our money, and the same with wherever else we wanna throw a hub. And so I think we're at a point now where we just gotta play the game and sort of see what happens. I think everything takes a little bit of time sort of to get started, so we can speed up the time a little bit, and now we have everything sort of going. I'm pausing the game again just so we can take a look at these different sort of stats, and then in the future we probably won't be doing it as much like this. But we have a plane going to Odense, it's full of passengers, that's very nice. One going to Copenhagen isn't entirely full, but it's pretty close, and that's alright. And for Gothenburg, it's full as well. It's already making money, which is also very nice. So we take a look in Aarhus here. Most of our stuff is starting to be fulfilled, and that is just gonna level up our city, which allows for more travel destination and all sorts of good stuff like that. Also have our buses here between Aarhus and Horsens, taking people back to Aarhus from there, very nice. And same thing here with Herning and with Aalborg. So yeah, let's start up the game. How about this bus? Does this bus have passengers? It does. So they're currently running this route here, which doesn't seem to include Aalborg. So maybe... it doesn't seem like we sort of actually updated the route, we just built the road. So let's confirm the edit here so that the Aalborg gets included as well in the future. Very nice, and we have our plane here, should be landing in Odense. Or it should have landed already, I think. We can take a look at the vehicles, and we can take a look at the routes here. See, it's currently transferring passengers. That's, well, as expected. Let's take a look a little bit in our vicinity to see if there's any other companies that have started up. We have in Hamburg, we have the Agen ferries, water taxis between Hamburg and, okay, 4 different cities: Kiel, Lübeck, Cuxhaven, and Wilhelmshaven. interesting. So we'll have to keep an eye on that company, it seems. If they pivot away from ferries, maybe, maybe not. Obviously, there's something in London here. That is the company of Worldwide Logistics. That is operating out of London, okay. Nothing in Sweden, nothing in Norway, nothing in Finland. Not a lot in... Oh, there's a bunch of stuff out of Madrid. We have a company, Baltic Bus Company. Not sure why it's called Baltic Buses, because the Baltics is all the way over here. Not specifically Ukraine, but I do believe it's sort of this corridor, something along those lines. We have something going on in Italy and in France, Belgium. Not sure if this is something. No, that's just a border in Ireland. Obviously, there's probably going to be companies in the US and the rest of the world as well. We are here in Denmark, and we can also take a look through the company portal up here. Valuations, we're actually up there on valuations. Operating profits, not so much. There's some companies that have very good operating profits. Very well, good for them, I guess. But hopefully we'll be able to catch up. We're decently along with company value, but obviously we just started, so that is gonna fluctuate. Now this bus, Aarhus to Herning, it does take a few people back with it, so that is nice. It's going full on its way to Aarhus. And the same one with Horsens, a few people are sort of returning, so that's very nice. Our fulfillment on the Odense line is less than 50%, so maybe it does make sense. Take a look at this one, Aarhus to Odense. It's not making so much money. So, question is whether it makes sense to just trying to think. It makes sense to sort of double up the capacity on the line here. We do want it in terms of fulfillment, but we don't really want it in terms of making money, because the route isn't really making any. It's running at 100% efficiency though, so... But maybe it should have been a ferry. That is definitely a possibility. We can take a look. If we make a new route between Aarhus and Odense and select ships instead. I mean, they're pretty comparable in terms of price with planes. Obviously the capacity is much higher, so the price per capacity is lower. Maybe it makes sense to go with this instead, the water taxi. And sort of fulfill the Odense demand like that. Plane to Gothenburg, really doing well, so that's amazing. Let's try it out. Let's try out the ferry route, Aarhus to Odense instead, and we'll go into this route and we'll just clear it out, and we will sell the plane because I don't really think we can transfer it into somewhere else, so that might be a little bit of a loss there. But I think in the long term that's probably gonna be the sort of the better solution. Let's speed up the game a little bit just because I want to see our boat here. It's not completely full going from Aarhus, but when it gets into Odense, it's completely full on its way back. Speed up the game a little bit more here. Does seem to be slightly more profitable than the plane. And it takes care of our demand much better. So another thing we can see up here is we have sort of goals or tasks for this month, and the month just went through there, so we got a bit of a grant. If we look into our bank balance here, our income, not that much compared to our expensive. This is for the current month though, so if we go back to the last month, you can see here our income is 230,000 from planes, 60k from road vehicles, 21k from ships, and the expensive, obviously there's some infrastructure cost, but we have some taxes, we have some expenses from planes and road vehicles, there's some taxes, expenses from ships, and hopefully that sort of evens out in the end. If we look at this month now, we can see on our income there's this grants, and that is these tasks here that we get some grant money for some of them. So let's just pause the game real quick, kind of take a look at see what is going on here. This up here is also a task, just not a monthly task. These monthly ones, they disappear every month. This one just sort of stays, and it's just sort of a, this is your company growing. So we want to get to like 1,500 passengers. That means the classification of our company is increased to provincial pioneers up from urban transit, and we get some rewards, some subsidies basically for building roads and stuff. Right now it's 25%, or it was at least, and if we get this one it'll be 35%. We have this one which says we have some vehicles that we can actually sort of increase in profitability, hopefully. We have this Copenhagen Aarhus line. If we take a look at the vehicles up here also, we can also see sort of their balances, but really what I wanted to see was the routes. We can see that people don't really want to go to Copenhagen as much as we hoped, so this is actually operating at a loss. Aarhus Gothenburg, really good. Aarhus Odense is making a bit of money now, and the Aarhus Herning Aalborg is also making money. But Aarhus Herning and Aarhus Horsens, which are sort of just, it was just in order to get passengers into Aarhus in the hopes of them being able to go further along, but maybe we're too early in the game for that. Maybe we should just sort of cancel these routes for now, make our money back a little bit. Obviously we lose some money, there's some depreciation and stuff like that, but rather than have a operational loss, maybe it makes sense. So this bus is actually only going the Herning Aarhus route. So maybe we just edit this one to include the Aalborg. I think that's gonna turn that profitable because we have some extra passengers that wanna go both Aalborg Herning, but also Aalborg and Aarhus. So it's gonna turn out good, I think. And then obviously we have routes. We have the Aarhus Copenhagen, and there's just not enough traffic, it seems, because from Copenhagen they don't really want to go back to Aarhus. do have people that want to go to Copenhagen, so question is if it's just too expensive to run a plane. What if we make a new route and look at ships again? Shield price 31 per kilometer, and how about that plane we're running? That's 38 per kilometer, so it's not like it's that much more expensive to run the plane, but it is slightly more expensive, so maybe we try it. We'll try it out instead of the plane, and we'll just get rid of this. Don't want to duplicate it. We can't. We can send it to the hub. Or maybe that didn't send it to the hub as much as it just... Yeah, no, it didn't. Let's just sell it. That's actually a decent amount of money we're getting back on that plane, so that's not too shabby. Okay, so that's a half of what's going on here. We want to connect to Fredrikstad because that gives us some grant money, so we'll want to look into that. We can now buy company shares in our own company. Not really interested in that right now. We earn some trust in Denmark, which means that if another company were to sort of start encroaching on our territory here in Denmark, then since we have some trust, passengers are more likely to choose us. We also got some in Sweden, and our cities grew. As we can see, there's now a fourth destination, that's Brunswick. That is quite the distance. I only have 7 people wanting to go there. But maybe it makes sense to do it. I just want to start the game in normal speed, and we'll take a look at going to Brunswick here via plane. That's really the only thing that's feasible because we don't have the infrastructure to get all the way there. So we would be able to do it with the Nimbus. I mean, it estimates profit quite high. The minimum efficiency is 3 each way. Does people in Brunswick want to go back to Aarhus? They don't really. Do we have enough people in Denmark wanting, or in Aarhus wanting to go to Brunswick? Maybe. I think we test it out. I think that's what we're gonna do. Nearly full, and question is if it isn't possible to sort of... It says 15 passengers per month, so question is how long it takes for the flight to happen, if it can be how many per month it can do, right? But we'll have to keep a look at that. There's still more people that want to go to Gothenburg, but I think that coincides with that plane coming back here. I think that's going to be fine. And then we want to connect Fredrikstad to Aarhus, and I think Aarhus to Fredrikstad, and I think a plane could make sense, but a boat could also make sense. We don't have that many, or we don't have any people currently that want to go the route. It's just because maybe there's some in Fredrikstad that wants to come to Aarhus, but it's like 7 people. Can't do train or anything, so I think we go with the water taxi just because it's cheaper. And investment wise, we'll get the money back with our grant reward, and there's also a bonus if the demand is fulfilled, and that boat should definitely be able to carry everybody going from Fredrikstad to Aarhus. Yeah, so one of our, well, not buses, but road vehicles is now profitable. It's said at least. Yeah, so this one is turning a profit now that it's connected Aalborg and Herning. So that's very nice, but the one with Horsens isn't profitable yet. It's just one person. It's not a lot of people wanting to go to Aarhus. We'll just keep it. It's not losing us that much money. Our operating profits are pretty decent. Obviously, a part of that is the grant money that's sort of dragging it up, but I mean, that is nothing to be ashamed of. Cool. I think we don't have enough money to make a new hub yet, so probably we want to still have a lot of people in Odense wanting to go to Aarhus. Not as many wanting to go the other way. How did the Brunswick plane fare? Brunswick, there we go. Gonna take 2 people back. It was profitable going out, so that's very nice. Let's see if this replenishes enough. I think probably our next hub that we want to build here is gonna be Odense. We're almost there, so let's just speed up the game a little bit and try and get that money in. Three people going back. That is not really enough to turn a profit. 5 people coming back now, 6 people coming back now. That is better. And obviously, as I said, these numbers are going to fluctuate because the simulation is living. Now we have 7 or 8 people going because we also have people coming from Copenhagen that wants to go to Brunswick, so we're sort of fulfilling this one indirectly. I think maybe we don't want to do Odense, maybe we want to do Copenhagen, and that way we can move into Sweden a bit. I think that makes more sense probably. So let's get a hub in Copenhagen, and we'll just do a route into Malmö. I think we'll do let's take a look. How much is a road gonna cost us? It's gonna cost us 500,000. That's not really worth it at this point with that low demand, I don't think. That's not what I wanted to do. So I think we're gonna go with a ship instead. And complete 10 tasks. Okay, yeah. Doesn't matter. Oh, didn't mean to pause the game there. Let's see, new route, clear it, and then we'll go Copenhagen, Malmö, we'll do a water taxi. Now you can see there's also inflation, and that's just gonna keep rising every month, every year. Everything just gets more expensive, that's just how the way it is. Yeah, I think Malmö, Copenhagen with with a boat like this is gonna make sense. I didn't want to pause it there. We did get some grant money. We didn't manage to fulfill the demand completely, unfortunately, which means we didn't get that bonus reward. So that's unfortunate, but that's also just how it is sometimes. How is our routes doing? Aarhus, Gothenburg, very nice. Aarhus, Brunswick is very nice, making money as well. Copenhagen is starting to turn a profit now with the... Did we change that? Yeah, we changed that to a boat, so that's probably this one, yep. Boat here is doing well. Did cities grow? Both Aarhus and Aalborg grew. Okay, so we have a new demand here in Aarhus, and that is Amsterdam. And we have Aalborg, which now wants to go to Copenhagen, which is gonna go through Aarhus, through Herning. It might make sense to eventually. This is a very low. It's almost fulfilled already. It's a very low volume, so it doesn't make sense to make a direct connection to Copenhagen yet. We have some people sort of waiting here, mostly for Copenhagen. Maybe we need to up the, like, add an additional water taxi, but that's for later to see, I think. We have our water taxi going to Malmö here. Very nice. And then the question is... Jönköping, I think the only real route for us is via plane, and we don't have the money for that at this point, so we probably just need to... That's quite annoying actually, because there's a grant connecting to Jönköping, so we would very much like to do it. It's 307k. I say we speed up the game and see if we can't make that amount of money. Actually, let's speed down the game. We can loan the money if we wanted to, because we can now get more of a loan. Obviously there's interest, 15%, but I think it makes sense for us to borrow. Question is just whether or not I want it to be that kind of gameplay, want to include that kind of gameplay in this series. I think for now I'm gonna buy off the loans. It's obviously not cheating or any sort of kind of thing, but I just think it's more interesting to see if we can just do it with that initial loan only, and nothing else. And I mean, if we can't, then I mean, I'm sure we can, but maybe the next series we are gonna take out some loans along the way, and we'll be able to expand more easily in the beginning, which is primarily where it's gonna sort of be of consequence, right? That's in the beginning. Let's oh, I wanted to go at this speed. Let's take a look here at our competition down in Hamburg and their routes. They're still running 4 routes. They got a bigger boat here going to Kiel. Aiden ferries here. But yeah, they have these 4 routes, and 2 of them aren't doing good, and the other 2 are doing pretty decent, and it's really not of much consequence to us, I don't think. Is there anybody else starting to move somewhere that has a consequence for us? France is about the same. Spain is about the same. Italy seems to be about the same. Nobody in sort of Northern Europe. London starting to... The worldwide logistics here is starting to expand a little bit. It seems. Going to Amsterdam. That's also something we had some demand for. So maybe we should take a look at that. We could obviously go by boat. That's gonna be quite slow. And if we were to go by plane, then obviously it makes more sense to set up the Copenhagen-Jönköping because we get a grant for that. So I think we're back to sort of speeding the game up a bit through the month here, seeing if we can't make that money. Can. Wonderful. Now, there's absolutely no way we're going to be able to get this bonus and completely fulfill the demand because one is a small plane and there's a decent chunk of demand actually. Our demand for Brunswick goes through Aarhus and is fulfilled pretty nicely. A lot of people want to go to Copenhagen. Decent amount of people want to go to Aarhus. This is our Copenhagen boat. I think we duplicate, maybe... I was gonna say, maybe we don't duplicate it, maybe just upgrade the ship. So we don't want to go with this one, that's very expensive. We could go with this one. Obviously we don't have the money right now. This could make sense to go with the Little Explorer instead of getting an additional water taxi. Because it's gonna double the capacity and it's gonna be faster. So that's probably what we're gonna do when next month comes around. Okay. We can see here, unfortunately, so the way this game works is when you play and you name your company, and you make a logo, then that company is a possible competitor when you play in another game. And I did play a game where I unfortunately didn't change the logo. That's this worldwide logistics company here. So it's a little bit difficult to sort of differentiate between us and them in this game. I'm not sure if I can change the logo. Oh, we can maybe. Yeah, we can. It does seem like we could. So let's just change it up like so. That at least gives us a way to differentiate. There's a company running up here in Finland. I just hadn't seen them at sea. Back to normal view, and it is now in nighttime. Okay, yeah, so there's a road running here from Helsinki to St. Petersburg, which is where the company seems to be located. St. Petersburg, Russia. It's Global Western. They are really churning in some profit there. I wonder, yeah, that is the most profitable and operating profit also. Very good going company there. Good for them. Changing our logo also changes the coloring on all of our vehicles so we can differentiate those, which is quite nice, to be honest. Our routes are doing okay as well. Aarhus to Fredrikstad isn't really... It's making a little bit of money, but not a ton. But that is completely fine. We just sort of wanted it for the grant anyways, but probably in the future it's gonna turn a bit of a bigger profit. We still have this Aarhus Horsens line, which just isn't cutting it. There's no demand going to... I think we gotta cut it, the line. I don't think it's worth having it. Gonna sell the Otter here, and I think that also gets rid of the line because there's now no vehicles on it. Copenhagen-Malmö is quite surprising to me that one doesn't turn a profit. But maybe it just needs a little bit of time to get started. Maybe. We'll have to see about that. Anyway, new month, and Aalborg grew. Just... Oh, I didn't mean to click that. Let's pause. There's a new event, Oktoberfest. So obviously there's tourism things like this, so probably that means people are more likely to wanting to go down to Germany. And currently our only one here is Brunswick. We're nowhere near fulfilling our route with Copenhagen. A lot of people really want to go there. But as we talked about, that route needed to upgrade that water taxi to the Little Explorer. So let's do that. And that'll increase the capacity there. Yeah, so these are gonna be fine. We didn't quite get there to 1,500 passengers last month, but we'll see what we can do this month. Brunswick, yeah, so this is plus 50%. That's because of that Oktoberfest here. I'm thinking a lot of people in Copenhagen wants to go to Aarhus in order to go to Brunswick. And that's fine. If we make a direct line to Brunswick from Copenhagen, we're gonna take those Aarhus people away. Or maybe not, no. No, because these are the ones that go directly to Aarhus only, okay. So that's not gonna be an issue. But it is gonna sort of fill up the boat, because right now both Aarhus and Brunswick people are gonna go to Aarhus. And probably Gothenburg people as well. Okay, so we actually have quite a lot of people in Copenhagen that use Aarhus as a hub. So this boat isn't even gonna cut it, so I think we can do a direct route to Brunswick because we still have the Gothenburg people coming into Aarhus, filling out the boat. I think that is gonna make sense. Copenhagen to Brunswick. And we'll just throw a plane onto that route. Then Nimbus here is gonna do us just fine. Wonderful. And that is just about all of our money again. So let's speed up a bit here. Take a look at our routes. Everything except for Copenhagen, Malmö, and Aarhus, Fredrikstad is profitable. And the amount of sort of left on the table profit, the negative profit here on these lines is nowhere near enough to sort of discontinue the line. They even are starting to turn profitable now because of an update in traffic. So yeah, we are just gonna leave everything exactly the way it is there. We are fulfilling Jönköping completely. This plane doesn't completely fill up. It does barely fill up going back, but we can't just add another plane because it's just gonna ride empty on its way back, so that's just gonna be how it is. Oh, Gothenburg, a lot of people want to go there. Currently, how is our line? That's via plane. A lot of people want to go to both Malmö and Copenhagen from Gothenburg, so we can definitely increase the traffic here. We could make Gothenburg our next hub. Sort of make direct transfers from Gothenburg to Malmö and sort of expand that way. That is gonna take the traffic going back here a little bit. But most of the people that are in maybe not most it seems, but at least 50%, close to 50% of people in Aarhus are coming from Malmö in order to go to Gothenburg. So I think that makes sense to do that, to make Gothenburg our next hub for sure, and then set up some direct routes, Copenhagen and Malmö, and then we can get a bit further into, maybe not further, but we can get to Halmstad as well. Maybe even our first train, even though train is a lot of investment. It might still make sense just to go with planes, smaller planes. How is our Copenhagen Brunswick going? Very nice. And the Aarhus one as well. A lot of people still want to go to Brunswick from Aarhus, so we could increase that, just get another plane. I think we'll do the same. Actually, if I were to upgrade here, it would be to the 330 Express, right? I'm pretty sure. Just to take a look. Yeah, that's the Nimbus one. So if we were to upgrade this one, it's quite a lot more expensive than just getting an additional plane. So we'll just get an additional plane once we have. And then again, that price has really soared, but a lot of that is because Aarhus is starting to fill up with vehicles. Another station there, but let's take a look at our hubs. So we can right now only have 8. And that's just the way it is. Just have to sort of upgrade it. Becomes more expensive to run. But all of our routes are doing good, so the cost is probably worth it. But we'll just try and gather a bit more money. Don't want to upgrade it before I get that plane, at least that is for certain. Copenhagen Kjønköping is doing very nice as well. Just a lot of people wanting to go to Gothenburg. Alternatively, we could throw a... I mean, it's making money, the plane. That's not what I wanted to do. It is making money. But the capacity is very low compared to how many people actually wants to go there. If we sell this plane, we get 258,000. That would allow us to get this. Probably the Little Explorer is what we would want to go with. We can even buy that right now. That's 40 people in capacity. Obviously, the speed is 3 times lower, but it's 5 times more capacity, so it is going to be more capacity in the long run. Alternatively, we could go with the war here to get enough money. 90 capacity. That would be enough for one trip, but there's no way near that amount of people wanting to go back. I mean, there is right now because they want to go to Malmö. I think I'm still on the get another plane and then you know what? No, let's shift the plane out with a we'll change the plane. Get rid of the plane, make a new route from Aarhus to Gothenburg, and we'll throw down a ship. It's gonna be that Little Explorer here. And we'll see if that doesn't alleviate that and hopefully keeps sort of the same performance that the plane was doing. And then when the month turns over, we're not going to be able to do this demand thing here, so we're not going to get a grant. But hopefully soon we can get Gothenburg as our 3rd hub. And that way expand a little bit, I think. Copenhagen grew, more connection to Copenhagen, and they want us to connect Horsens to Aarhus. I mean, that's easy. That is easy. Let's start there. Aarhus and Horsens. We already got the road, so we just gotta throw down a vehicle on it. And we'll just get the order. I mean, I know we got rid of it, but now we get a grant to get it back, so might as well. And we got our city, our hub upgraded, so we can have a few more vehicles. A few more connections to Copenhagen. There is now actual demand for Aarhus, which is nice, and that is already fulfilled by this line here, the boat. I think that is taking care of the demand just how we want it. Oktoberfest is over though, so our Brunswick lines, we gotta keep an eye on those, that they're still profitable during this month, but they definitely should be. Just not as profitable, I don't think. How we're doing comparatively? Okay, we're still third in company value, and our operating profit is currently negative, but that is gonna fluctuate throughout the month, so that should hopefully become positive again really soon. But I'm not too worried. But we can take a little bit of a look at what other companies are doing. This AIM ferries haven't changed at all. Worldwide Logistics is doing good. They're expanding. They got 15 routes. How many routes do we have? We have 14. Okay, so it's sort of comparable. And what about that Moscow-based one? Oh, sorry, St. Petersburg-based one, which is also... No, Moscow is a different one. Indian Transport, okay. But Global Western doing really nice. They have some of those bigger planes for some longer routes, presumably. Yeah, we could definitely throw a bigger plane on our Brunswick route as well without too much of an issue, I think. But, I mean, what we're missing now, and yeah, we have positive operating profits now. What we're missing now is just money. If we can get this bonus here, that's good. We have a lot of people wanting to go to Aarhus. They didn't get picked up. So I'm wondering... don't have that many people want to go to Copenhagen once this ferry has gone. But if we wait until this ferry is basically in Copenhagen, then we can take a look again. How does it look then? 11 people for Copenhagen, 44 people for Malmö. So we could throw in an additional boat on this one, I think. Just don't have the money just a second. There we go. Throw in another boat. It should fill up completely with people for Malmö. And then this is Copenhagen Aarhus. So why isn't this demand being met? Is what I'm thinking. Does it need to go the other way as well? Copenhagen, Aarhus. Obviously we can't, because we just bought that one. I wouldn't expect that that was the case, but I guess it is a possibility. Or maybe it's just direct paths from Copenhagen. Maybe the Aarhus connection already sort of exists. That's probably the case. It was already a part of the 5. So we really want to go to Gothenburg. The question is if it's 800,000 now and we're gonna need a plane, so we probably need 1 million. I doubt we'll be able to get that. It's also suggesting Roskilde. We could just throw down a cheeky little path to Roskilde. People want to go from Roskilde to Copenhagen anyways. So that probably makes sense to do that, just so we can get that grant money. We'll just throw down the Ortler here. Build the road. Quite easy. Under 100k, and it's gonna give us, so we're basically gonna profit around 100k for doing just that. So the route itself doesn't need to be that profitable for a long time, really. If that's the case. Looking good. Are looking good. We can see here on the efficiency, the ones with 100% efficiency maybe are able to be upgraded. We take a look here. 13 people want to go to Odense. The ferry is just about to come in. A lot of people want to go to Aarhus from Odense though. Odense isn't really connected anywhere at this point, so it's like getting the demand to increase Aarhus to Odense is going to be difficult. If we just... It did fill up going back. And now it's just like 4 people, so yeah. Not much we can do on that one. Then we have the Brunswick lines. They were also operating at 100%, right? No, it doesn't seem so. Okay. But the Copenhagen-Jönköping is... Still have 18 people wanting to go to Jönköping. Where is the plane though? Oops. Oh, it was in Jönköping, okay. Not really any people wanting to go to Copenhagen. 19 people want to go to Jönköping. So the Aarhus one is getting satisfied. I think for now we're just gonna wait out the month. We just need some more money. Operating profit-wise, we aren't quite as high as some of these other ones. Worldwide Logistics is running at about 1 million operating profits, and we're about 500,000. But company value, we are just about contending with them. But they're, I mean, if they make twice as much money, they'll take off much quicker, of course. they do have the big loan. We can see how much loan other companies have. We don't. We haven't taken that extra loan. So given that, I actually think it's quite nice, quite well done that we have such a good company value. But it makes sense that our operating profits is where they're at. Given that we're just basically waiting for money to come in order to expand at this point. Given that, could probably argue that it would make sense to take an additional loan. So let's just do that. Otherwise we're just waiting. We'll throw a hub into Gothenburg. Just gonna pause the game so the month doesn't end. We want a direct flight from Gothenburg to Malmö. No doubt about that. So many people want to go to Malmö. We might even... okay. So we don't have the money. But I am thinking that we'd probably want to go with the 340 Express, to be honest. It is a lot more expensive, so we could get 2 Nimbuses for that price. Which is probably what we're gonna do. Just gonna go with another loan. We will create the route and immediately we'll just duplicate the plane. That leaves us with 2 planes. And then we can just start up the time again. Let's just throw in a direct from Gothenburg to Copenhagen as well. Since we have the money. Or we have it borrowed. And that should... it's gonna look pretty crazy on our balance sheet. A lot of expenses. Curious how the loan interest, so the interest was 34,000 last month. Obviously not much more this month, we'll have to wait till the month after to see, but we did increase our loan by about 60%, so we're probably gonna get like 20k more in loan costs, but that should easily be offset by these planes that we are running with now. Speed it up so the end of the month is coming in also, so that the planes... Oh, and that actually even made it so we made it our way to Provincial Pioneers. Interesting. I wasn't counting on that, to be honest. I wasn't thinking that would happen. So that's quite nice. Take a look at our routes. Going Roskilde, obviously not bringing any money, but we're 100k profit on that once the month turns over. And the Aarhus Horsens is the same. We're gonna make almost 400k from that one, so for sure we want to keep it for now at least, and everything else is in profit and very nice. Cool. New month. Optimize 2 vehicles that are doing 0. Oh, of course, so these, not these numbers, but the numbers you can see here, those are, it says last month, but these actually seem to be current numbers. But they are the Roskilde and the Horsens one, and they're just not profitable. That's just how it is. Question is whether or not we can get these demands here up and going. Roskilde did get bigger because of our route here, which means that the bus is going to be more full coming from Roskilde, because people want to go to Aarhus through Copenhagen as well. So what are we missing in order to get that demand? In Copenhagen is the Malmö. It does give us a bit of a hint as to what is happening. Indirect traffic is overwhelming your vehicle's capacity, and local passengers can't get to their destination. So who is riding this water taxi? Well, a lot of people are just people that want to go to Gothenburg, because a lot of people in in Copenhagen wants to go to Gothenburg, and they have to go that way. We have a direct route now, so hopefully that sort of balances out. But we'll have to see about that. How about Aarhus? Well, what we're missing is Amsterdam, so maybe it is time we get that up and running. Only 7 people, and it is quite a distance. So I think a small plane is our sort of our only option. It's not going to be completely full, but it's going to be full enough. Obviously, there's not going to be any people in Amsterdam that wants to go to Aarhus at this point, but yeah, it's going to be fine. Buy more company shares. Is that because I'm not familiar with this mechanic thing? Is it because we don't own the entire company? Is that the case? Why don't we own the entire company? Yeah, no clue. But I mean, it could make sense, I guess, to get some of those shares. How about if we look? Yeah, Global Western is buying some of its own shares, and Ukraine Transport is not. How about Worldwide Logistics? It's not either. Indian Transport. Okay, so only really Global Western is doing it at this point. How is our operating profits are actually the best right now, and our company value is in a second place. We're doing really, really good. Why are these blue? I don't know. I really don't know. That's interesting. I have no idea why the names of these are blue. I was thinking maybe it's because there's somebody using them, but that doesn't seem to be the case. I have no idea why some of them are blue at this point, and it's not the ones that we aren't using, because we are using Frequenstad. Odd. Okay. Take a look at this world view again. Let's see, there's still a lot of stuff, or countries here in Europe that is completely untouched. Africa is completely untouched. This company here is which one is that? That is a United States bus service. It seems to be in complete monopoly over the United States at this point in time. That's quite interesting. As well as Australia is completely one company. Nobody's going in China right now. I'm not saying this because I wanna sort of pick those up. Just curious. It's what I'm thinking. It's just a little bit curious. But we are just waiting for this Aarhus demand to fulfill completely with our plane to Amsterdam. Where is it currently? It's currently transferring people. And now this is interesting because there's no direct flight from Amsterdam to Brunswick. You have to go through Aarhus, which we do have that flight. I hadn't seen there was some fulfillment there. We're actually starting to gain some trust into Amsterdam, and at some point we might even be able to take it over from Worldwide Logistics if that continues being the case. Now Copenhagen and the Malmö route is still full of people wanting to go to Gothenburg. How about we just run that back and forth a little bit? Aarhus is full, almost or completely full now. But Copenhagen is, I mean, our demand for Malmö is just not being met. They keep order taxi is just not enough, even though nobody's going back. Everybody else just wants to use it, so we have to upgrade the the boat, and then it's just gonna have to be not good, not full when it goes back. It's just gonna have to be the way it is. We have a big backlog. People want to go to Melbourne, so I don't think we're going to be able to meet the demand, unfortunately. That is just the way it is. So Horsens here is losing a lot of money. So is this one, but the Horsens one is like the real sinner, if you say. Okay, it does seem like oh, that was the month just changing there. It seems like, I was just gonna say, it seems like the blue city names are the ones with ports, but that's not the case either, so I'm not sure. But yeah, new month. We did grab a singular grant. We have a lot of money that we can spend. All cities should prosper, so it wants us to sort of get demand into the remaining cities in Denmark. That's gonna give us a crazy grant, but it probably requires us making a hub in Odense or Kolding. That seems to be the case, probably Kolding. Alternatively, we can make a hub in Brunswick. A new event started, Christmas. I think that just means everything is increased. Yeah, everything is plus 50%, so this month is gonna be really good for us. We have a lot of trust in Brunswick, but also there's a route from Worldwide Logistics going into Brunswick, and we don't want this to be taken over. Setting up a direct flight from Brunswick to Amsterdam could be a way to sort of get into Amsterdam as well. And it does seem like Brunswick is actually, like, location-wise pretty good in connecting to a lot of other cities in Europe. So maybe we do build a town here in Brunswick. It is 3 stars already, so that is good. Has a lot of demand for different cities. We can expand a little bit into Germany. It's gonna cost us 800k. We have that money. Alternatively, do 3 more connections in Gothenburg. We want to do the Halmstad one, of course. Then we could do Karlstad and Schönköping, just so we don't spread ourselves too thin. I think Brunswick can wait a little bit, at least maybe in further into the month. Let's just increase Gothenburg's reach. Going to Halmstad. It is about the same distance by vehicle. There's quite a lot of passengers wanting to go there. We could, of course, just keep going with planes, but it just seems like that's all we're doing, and I don't just want to be a plane company. Although we have a lot of loyalty with Nimbus at this point, so maybe we should focus primarily on planes. It's not like it's a crazy short distance to Halmstad. How does demand for Halmstad? They want to go to Gothenburg, so there is definitely demand going back. Let's throw a Nimbus after that route. And let's go Schönköping. And how is that looking? We don't have any people wanting to go from Gothenburg to Schönköping. There is a lot of people wanting to go from Schönköping to Gothenburg though. Maybe we just build a road here. Let's just do that. Cheap-ish road, and we'll throw down a bus on it. Nobody wants to go there. Hopefully when they go back, that's gonna increase. Then it is suggesting Karlstad. If we just try and see how that is gonna be. We unlocked a new bus. We might wanna actually replace that one that we just bought with this bus. Just because it has that extra capacity. If we do this, it's gonna be 300k just in roads. Don't want to do that sort of investment, so let's just go with a Nimbus plane instead. We gotta clear it first, of course. We gotta select the route first, of course. Yeah. They don't want to go to Karlstad, but Karlstad do want to go to Gothenburg, so that's gonna be good. And now we have all those connections to Gothenburg. That's gonna give us our grant, and that is where we are going to end the episode. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. Next time, and I'm just gonna, well, don't have the money, so I'm not. Next time we're gonna expand into Brunswick before this month ends, and we are going to take over a bit of Germany here. Hopefully sort of invade Amsterdam, or at least erode the trust in Amsterdam for the Worldwide Logistics Company. And also possibly establish ourselves as a hub in like a little bit further down in Europe here to France and others, maybe even Italy. Right now our planes can't fly so long, so it makes more sense to do that from Brunswick than it does from Aarhus. So yeah, I think that's going to be the case, and we're also going to be doing, don't have enough wealth. No, let's take a look. I can just show it here on Aarhus. If we look into infrastructure here, we can actually build our first one, and we will be looking into some of these as well. Lower operating cost. Here's the headquarters, which gives tax collection, but also more trust, and there's indirect capacity and more traffic and all sorts of stuff. There's also a thing called a hub manager, which will basically allow us to have a city expand on its own. The AI will play for us in that city and expand that. We just give it a budget and it'll throw us all the leftover money that it ends up making. And we might employ that in Brunswick, I'm not entirely sure, but we'll for sure employ it next time somewhere, so we can start expanding at a sort of more rapid pace instead of having to go between all of these hubs, because with Brunswick we're gonna be at 4 hubs, and at this point it starts to get a little bit tricky. 4 is not that bad, but it'll start getting more tricky to take care of all your hubs, so that's where the hub manager comes in to play. Anyways, that is going to be next time, Brunswick and the expansion into Germany. But that's all for this time. We are a little bit behind on company value. We're down to 4th place, but out of 31, that's pretty good. Our operating profits is also down a little bit. We're not in the top anymore. United States Bus Services is doing that currently, but yeah, I am pretty optimistic. We are in the top 5, top 10 at least, so that is good. Thank you so much for watching. I'm gonna stop rambling now. Please leave Please leave a comment down below if you enjoyed this video, and of course hit the like button and subscribe if you want to see more Worldwide Rush or any of the other sort of automation, logistics, factory management, tycoon sort of games that I play here on the channel. And as always, I do wish we could have just one last turn, but that is gonna have to wait until next time. I'll see you guys then. Bye.